Is the I still around?
The I was on the ground. I don't see the I on the ground. Much like the I in the dollar inside of the pyramid, the
Mm-hmm.
all-seeing I
Mm-hmm.
was in the ground.
Explore that.
Lilith is gone now. I'll see if I can try to see it somewhere else, and I do.
Mm-hmm.
I just see it in my mind's eye.
Mm-hmm.
I see the eye in my mind's eye.
Mm-hmm.
It's not on any structure or any being.
May I ask a few questions to this all-seeing eye, to this voided state that fluctuates between light and dark?
Yes,
Moon cycle? I'm hearing the word moon cycle. Light and dark, two sides of the coin of creation. Light aspect, dark aspect. The all-seeing eye watches over both good and evil. Can you feel more into these descriptors? Are you part of the I or separate from the I or being observed by the I?
being observed by the eye, it seems. But as you were speaking, saw several things taking place.
Mhm.
I saw a tree rising up with its roots showing. The tree then morphed off into a being with wings that
Mhm.
was male.
Okay. Hmm.
I'm not sure what that means, but I'm sure we can explore that later.
Hmm.
Do you have more questions for this eye?
Hmm. Am I speaking to the all-knowing I right now as I feel the energy is different?
No, but if you have a question for the eye will be able to, or they should be able to communicate.
Hmm. Yes, I do. Which dimension do you dwell on?
The eighth dimension,
Hmm. And your eye is looking to what dimension, up or down?
it sees all things, whether it be up north or down, forward or backwards. Rephrase your question.
Mhm. What's the purpose of your eye seeing all things?
The perfect purpose of the all-seeing eye is for the same purpose of one who is honest and one who is dishonest, and revealing that it is the all-seeing eye. It sees all things, good and evil. Would there not be a purpose for that?
Hmm. If I may ask, am I still speaking with Penny or someone else?
Penny has fell back into consciousness.
Mhm. And who are you?
I am her higher self.
Your name.
My name is Penny,
Mm.
for Penny is me, and I am Penny. I am the higher source of Penny.
Mm-hmm. Is that the purpose for the eye as well?
No, the I is for protection.
Mm-hmm. Protection of who?
Protection of all things.
Mhm.
And just as the I resides in Penny, it resides in you and every being. You see, it is for protection. There'll come a time when things have to be revealed, the
Mm.
purpose of things, the truth of things. And if you cannot be honest, your I definitely will be. Because this I is shared amongst everyone and resides in everyone, you see.
Mhm. May I ask another question?
Yes.
Is this all-seeing, all-knowing I a technology device?
No technical advice. This is a part of creation,
Mhm.
the all seeing eye, if you will. You may can relate it to the highest source. The highest source sees all things.
Mhm.
The all seeing eye is just a symbol of this.
Mhm. Does it record everyone?
Everyone, everything, every living creature, everything that takes place. The all seeing eye sees everything.
Mhm. And how does it use the information that it sees? Does it judge?
Well, of course, it judges. It keeps record of all things. I feel as though I am answering the same question.
Mhm.
Do you need clarification?
Yes, give me a moment to rephrase. I'm seeing light and I'm feeling that this I is more of a dualistic nature of the light, the infinite light. Can you tell me, are you a polarity of the light or you are the light?
I am a polarity of the light.
Hmm. How do you work with the light, the greater light of source?
So this allows the polarity of the light to act as the light. Can you be in more than one place at one time? No.
Hmm. So are you saying without this all-seeing eye that appears to be a little dark, without it, there would be no light?
No, there will always be light. Understand that the all seeing eye is here to record everything that happens, good, bad, what the intention is. If bad happened with good intention, all of these things are recorded. And at some point, there will be a time of judgment. How can the highest source be able to judge if the highest source cannot see everywhere? So you have two eyes to see. The higher source is judging all things. So the highest source is at need to see all things at all times. So no, I am not the light, but I am a part of the light.
Hmm.
So the eye of the light is all over. where it can see, it can record, and it can judge.
Mm-hmm. I have a few more questions. Are you related to the moon in any way when you record? Does the moon have anything to do with that?
We're all connected.
Okay. Let's go back to this eighth dimension that you dwell on. Would this be above heaven?
Within the realm of it.
Mm-hmm. And do you watch over and even record with your eye, even heavenly beings?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Have they not already been judged?
Let me tell you a story.
Mm-hmm.
You may believe the story or you may not. It's not for one to believe or to agree with or disagree with. But there is a age-old story of the angels of heaven being casted out of heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think those angels made their way to such a heavenly place or were allowed to be in such a heavenly place or even created to be in a heavenly place? But when their actions turned, so then they were casted out. Why would we stop recording what goes on in
Mm-hmm. So I would like to explore the inner workings of what we call heaven, as you are the all-seeing eye that sees all. As you know, there's been lots of talks here on this Earth planet about heaven actually being part of the matrix, part of trapping souls to come down here to Earth. That's how Earthlings see it. Can you explore that a little more?
I'm not sure of what you are mentioning.
Let me rephrase. So there are some people on Earth who believe when you go to heaven, there's some sort of being that lures you there to a fake heaven, not the real light, but a fake heaven. And it's almost as if our souls are being taken to a fake holding place, and our energy is being harvested there. And then we're being sent back down here by disagreeable beings to live another Earth life. Do you have any information on this?
No, I don't, because that is false knowledge, nothing near the truth. And once again, the all seeing eye is there to prevent such things from happening. That is something that could never happen.
Mm-hmm. What else do you prevent as the all-seeing eye?
Anything that is outside of the order of creation and
Hmm.
the cycle of creation. We see all things. And the highest source, whomever you call your higher source, the higher source put these things in place. So this divine architect of all living things plan will go as agreed. So the all seeing eye is there to make sure that things stay upon course and that it does, because one day there will be judgment. It can record what is happening and what is not happening, or what is happening and what is happening outside of course when it's outside of courts, that thing that is reported back to the realm within the higher source resides.
Mm-hmm.
No one has the ability to make themselves bigger or greater or better architect than the higher source. So
Mm-hmm.
it's foolishness. This fake realm, this fake place is foolishness. Although science has become very crafty and we allow some things in science to just do as they will, because if not, what will we have to judge? But as far as creating some source of another heaven, like creating source another universe,
Mm-hmm.
will never act its way out.
Mm-hmm. I have a
And
question.
it is the higher source who says who returns and who stays based upon their judgment.
Mm-hmm. So are you
Any
saying,
contract given is given with the permission due to the highest source,
mm-hmm,
you see.
if I may?
Yes,
So are you saying that judgment has not happened yet in the terms of when a human life ends? It is said that they go to heaven and judgment happens. Are there two judgments? Or are we still waiting for judgment?
there are phases that you go through to get to one judgment area, or from one area to the area of judgment. And
Mm-hmm.
once you reach that point, then you are given a contract based upon what has been recorded with your time here on planet Earth, if that's where you are, you see.
Mm-hmm.
And then you come back on contract. And that is for any realm or dimension that you are moving within. You can decide, you can choose where you go. But the same life lessons
Mm-hmm.
to conquer it, to learn and to conquer, you see. So
Mm-hmm.
there is a place of judgment, and that is the only place of judgment. And every time you cycle through, we go over what you have experienced here on earth, what you gained, and the confusion that you have caused here.
Uh-huh. You said we go over. Who is the we?
We so there is more than just one who goes over judgment in the contract. So we are the beings of the highest source, you
Mm.
see.
Mm-hmm. So you are part of more of a group of beings of a higher source. What dimension? Where do you guys live and stay?
I am of the eighth dimension.
Mm-hmm. Are others of different dimensions?
Some, yes, because I did stay. There are different levels. So in each level that you enter into, you are being, you are going over a review of your course of life
Mm-hmm.
within that dimension.
If I may. Is that why in the earlier image of the light shadow beings, some were moving faster than you? Is it because they are on higher dimensions, therefore.
Oh, good question. Yes, yes. So
Mhm,
they are busy at work.
mhm,
And this is all in the same realm or dimension. However, there is work that they are taking place and moving from one area to the other, almost like speed of light,
mm,
because there is so much to record and so much to take in.
mhm,
And sometimes, but it's a meeting, if you will, a meeting that they're taking part in from one area to the next area within this dimension. So they have to move fast, like the speed of light, to get from one point to the other, because there's always something being filtered or downloaded into this dimension, you
mhm.
see.
Uh-huh. I have a question about that filtration. When something gets filtered or brought into that dimension, do they filter out memories and timelines, energies, so that we can only see a certain thing, or do they just organize it? What do they do when they're filtering?
Just something like an organization. So it's almost like you have a file cabinet, and each file cabinet has a different label. So we do not get rid of memory. We only file it away to
Mhm,
where it can later be accessed again.
mhm,
And sometimes we take these files and we compare these files to
mhm,
the new files that we are filing away.
mhm,
You see, almost like a cheat sheet um, for those who might be studying something in school or whatnot. You might want to pull out an old file and compare it to the next,
mhm.
you see. But we don't get rid of any information.
Would this be maybe something that gets stored in celestial memory or our DNA strands?
I would say both.
Hmm. Okay. So are you saying that within each of us, we have access to all of the files that you've organized?
Yes,
Uh-huh.
we don't get rid of anything, you see,
Hmm.
especially when there's one contract into coming out of one contract entering into another. Sometimes it is beneficial to pull those files that have already been organized and compare one life to the next life in that area to see if there has been improvement or have we advanced, have we regressed? What did you do within that life? You see.
Hmm. I understand. If I may ask a question about these contracts, is there a way a soul can get out of a contract? How does a contract get formed? If they say, I want to have an earth experience or another experience as a different being, is there a way to end the contract? Because these contracts seem to be very important and kind of sacred.
So this is the deal with the contract. And I'm glad you asked this question. So if you decide that you want to leave planet Earth, then you cannot leave Earth until you have completely fulfilled your contract. So
Hmm.
I would say that Earth is probably the most complex, you see, because as you come in, you may have explored certain things and lived a life that is pleasing and that is just to the higher source. But in other areas, you may have struggled.
Mhm.
Well, until you perfect that area, you will continue to come back until that area is perfected. So the only way you can cancel out the contract is to live a life according to the policy, which I will not discuss with you.
Uh-huh. If I may, is it like having policies and procedures of a company that is almost as if it's a law that doesn't change? It's the structure of what the contracts, the lives, the matrix are built off of. Are those things never changing? Those are like policies and procedures that we must follow?
Yes, there are a certain rules of life that we must follow. And but the best way to look at it is to think back at school. So if you have a 2.0 or 1.0 and another 2.0, would you say that you passed or that you failed? So when you get to a place where you have a maybe a 2.0 and a 3.0 or 3.8, 3.9 or 4.0, then I would say that based upon that average, you
Mhm.
have passed and you can move on. But if you continue to repeat the same thing with the same failing grade, then you're going to have to stay in that grade until you can pass and move on to the next grade. Same thing with the contract.
Uh-huh. So if I must ask, and let's go back to, I do not wish to offend, but I must go back to the aspect of this life being not exactly free will, because there are policies and procedures. So do we have a limited free will?
No, you have full free will.
Hmm.
That's why so many of you come back time and time again, is because of the free will. But how could you learn any lessons that can prepare you for the next dimension that you go into if you don't have that free will?
Mm-hmm.
How can you learn? So you have a complete free will and you will stay and continue to move throughout this planet until you get it right. So that way you can graduate and move up into another realm, another dimension, another place, another time. You can move up into that. But until then, you have to stay here until the lessons are learned that place you into, look at it like a more mature level, a more mature area. You wouldn't move from kindergarten to the 12th grade, you see. You're going to have to continue to repeat. And that's why I use the analogy of school and grades. You have to move up into, move from one level to the next. You can't just graduate from kindergarten and go to college, you see.
Hmm. And if I may ask, if someone wants to cancel their soul contract after one life, let's say they haven't finished the lesson, but they say, I don't want to do this anymore. Can they get out of it?
No.
Hmm. Why not?
So let's go back. Let's go back once again. And then we're gonna leave this subject alone.
Hmm.
You can't possibly enter into the ninth grade and finish. that year of the ninth grade and say, I don't want to do this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go ahead and graduate. Well, you haven't met the criteria to graduate. There's no canceling the contract.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I see. I think this is where we will leave this subject and move on to the next. Okay?
That would be best.
Yes, I think so. I do have another question. Going back to this all-seeing eye, which is the polarity of the light. This is what we see on our money. This is what we call here on the Earth School. A lot of people say it's the Illuminati that's controlling the whole Earth with their all-seeing eye. But I notice that the light still precedes the all-seeing eye triangle. Is this kind of the aspect of what you represent?
In some cases, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, I will give you uh, some homework. Look into the ascensions. And so, like I was saying, going back, contracts, these are file cabinets. And there are some beings who are able to tap back into that file cabinet where things have been filed away.
Mm-hmm.
It's their own ability.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, the illuminated ones have information, age old information that may have seemed before their time, but it's something that had already been experienced and I have not experienced. It's very complicated, if you will, but it's not what your society has made it out to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say look into the ascensions and what the ascensions are and where they come from and what they meant, and then you will better understand the illuminated ones
Mm-hmm.
and why someone felt like it was necessary to bring that out into the forefront. It will take some time, I'm sure, but you are bright. Study the ascensions.
Mm-hmm.
And I am growing tired.
Yes, I understand. I just have a few more questions, if I may.
If you must.
So what we call the Illuminati, the people in the Illuminati are the actual illuminated ones, the ones who have the real knowledge because they have the light, because they have let the light shine through the third eye space. Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much so. So I will once again tell you to study the ascension. Uh, I do recall uh, I do recall a period where um, this is something that was viewed within this vessel, but this vessel did not understand completely. But there is a group or project called an ascension. Go over that ascension, and that will answer a lot of your questions.
Hmm. I will do that. Thank you. I do have another question.
And I am very tired.
Penny would like to know a few questions if you could answer those for her. Why did she decide to be physical since she's a higher dimensional being? What was her purpose to take this earth life?
So it's not that it was something that she chose. She did not choose to be here. She was placed here for a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And she will be here again because it will not be fulfilled in just one cycle. She
Mm-hmm.
will run her two cycles here, and then she will move on to volunteer in another area.
Mm-hmm. Will her mother?
And if you don't mind, I am very tired, and I want to give you the attention that you're asking for, but I am tired.
Okay. Would you like to relax or come out of the state of hypnosis?
Let's allow this to end for now.
Okay. Very well. I would like to,
And you can visit me anytime you like.
and your name.
My name is Penny. I am her higher source.
Thank you, Penny, higher source. I thank you for this beautiful transmission, and I will let you go and rest.